So members of Parliament have described the 2021-2022 municipal audit outcomes as worrisome. This is due to a regression in clean audits. Auditor-General Tsakane Maluleke presented the findings to Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts yesterday. She found that only 38 municipalities out of the 257 achieved clean audits. She further reported that municipalities racked up to 4.74 billion rand in fruitless and wasteful expenditure and 25 billion rand in unauthorised expenditure. The Auditor-General said that many municipalities are failing on almost every metric of good governance and integrity. On the agenda now, we speak to Mthobeli Kolisa, who is acting CEO at the South African Local Government Association, or SALGA. Thank you so much for joining us, and a good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
I mean, your reaction to the findings of the Auditor-General, obviously we can't be very proud of what we've seen here. Only 38 municipalities out of 257 getting clean audits. It's shocking.
First of all, thank you. We welcome the results because they are important in terms of giving South Africans a sense of how things are in a municipality in respect of financial management and governance. They are important in terms of accountability. Yes, we are not proud of what we are seeing. We see a stagnation when you look at it in terms of the last 5 years, in terms of management of finances and governance in municipalities. However, we also note that we are dealing here with a year that was the year of elections. Remember, the financial year of municipalities starts in June and starts in July and ends in June. And we had elections on the 1st of November in that financial year. So the current cohort of leadership of municipalities came into office just 6 months towards the end of that financial year. So they were really responsible for half of that financial year. And we do know that during that transition, where councils get to be established, and in some cases, contracts of senior management are expiring, and new senior management and acting people are responsible for the reporting, the financial reporting. We get a sense that to the extent that there was no regression compared to the previous years, is something that we can work on going forward. But as we are saying, we do note the stagnation. We also do note that 55% of the municipalities, that is 142 municipalities, did report financial statements that are credible. And we call upon the rest of the municipalities that they must emulate what the majority of municipalities have done.
Yeah, but I think to talk about the stagnation and then say, you know, we're proud that we haven't, at least in some cases, seen a regression. I think for the viewer and for the citizen who really lives in these communities, requires services to be delivered to them. I mean, certainly for a lot of them, that's not going to be satisfactory, especially when you start to hear the numbers, right? When we're hearing 4.74 billion rand in fruitless and wasteful expenditure, 25 billion rand in unauthorized expenditure. I mean, how are we still getting that right? Is it the issue that we simply don't have the skills that are necessary in our municipalities?
Yes, we are. Just like all South Africans, we are concerned about the stagnation. We are concerned about the wasteful expenditure and the fruitless expenditure. It's an area of concern for us as local government. We also do know that in many of the municipalities, one of the things that needs to be done is to make sure that we have capable people running the municipalities. We therefore advise and call upon our municipalities to focus as a first step on recruiting capable municipal managers and CFOs to run municipalities. We know that some are saying that they don't have resources that they can be able to use to attract those kind of people. But we are saying that even with the meager resources that we have to have at least capable accounting officers and capable CFOs, because without them, we won't be able to manage the mega resources. That is the response.
And what happens when that, I mean, those requirements that you're talking about simply aren't met? So, you know, what happens when, you know, you do have these massive numbers of wasteful expenditure, or municipalities simply aren't providing clean audits? You've got the Auditor-General essentially says, and I'm going to quote, she says, municipalities are failing on almost every metric of good governance and integrity. Those are very disturbing words. So what happens after the Auditor-General gives us the report and we know what's going on within our municipalities? What does accountability then look like? What does SALGA do?
Okay. What we are calling upon on our new, I think before we can talk about what happens, let's talk about the attitude first. That we are seeing. We have interacted with mayors, we have interacted with speakers, we have interacted with councillors since the elections in 2001. And what we are getting is a sense of almost desperation from the current leadership to turn things around. There is a sense that we have to turn things around in municipalities. And they have been asking, what do we need to do? And we are saying to them, please start by recruiting capable people and hold those people accountable for the work that they have to do. And the starting point must be to make sure that we act on the wasteful and fruitless expenditure that is being reported in these financial statements and in the previous financial statements. And secondly, we must set targets to continuously reduce and eradicate fruitless and wasteful expenditure in municipalities. And that has to be done through accountability for that.
Have we seen financial managers in municipalities suspended or fired because the financial statements simply weren't coming together and there was massive amounts of wasteful expenditure?
Yes, indeed, we have seen that. We have seen contracts of CFOs and municipal managers having not been, those whose contract expired, having not been given another chance to come back and run those offices. And we've also seen cases of disciplinary hearings and CFOs fired in some of the municipalities where their contracts were still valid to continue.
Yeah, are we seeing a regression in our bigger metro municipalities? I mean, only 2 of the country's metropolitan municipalities receive clean audits. That's the city of the city of Cape Town, apologies, definitely not Tshwane. The city of Cape Town and Ekurhuleni. What is the situation with how we start dealing with accountability within our metros as well?
You asked earlier on about the question of accountability. I think the city of Tshwane has shown that in terms of taking action against officials where there are issues of audit reporting. City of Tshwane has done that. It's one of our examples of municipalities that have implemented consequence management. But at the same time, we also recognize that the metros have been some of the municipalities that have been impacted a lot by the transition with governance changes in councils, in mayors, and so on, which we are as SALGA calling upon parties to really look at the matter and make sure that the coalitions that they establish become more stable. Because without stability in council and stability in mayoral leadership, we are likely to have challenges of administrations being able to perform in the way that they are supposed to be. But we do hope that we have learned our lessons in the last financial year, and going into this financial year, we'll see something.
Okay, there's the viewer right now who lives in all of these metros and these municipalities that we're talking about, and they hear once again the billions of rand of wasteful and fruitless expenditure, and I can go on and on and on about unauthorized expenditure, but for them it really is just about the services. There's the fact that local government could not produce credible financial statements for about 1/3 of the finances under its control. That's another concern. So what's the message to the viewer right now who is in these municipalities, waits for services to be delivered, hears about these numbers and these concerns coming from the Auditor-General, and what do you say to them about the way forward? What's the plan?
We are saying to the viewer, our municipalities now have to focus on performance management. One of the outcomes that came from the reports is that in many municipalities, performance management is what is lacking, and performance reporting is what is lacking. We want to support our municipalities to focus on that
make sure that our mayoral committees and executive committees, council committees and council are able to hold administrations accountable for performance. So in our support to municipalities, we want to empower those who are running those committees to have effective oversight over their administrations.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We really do appreciate it. That there, Mr. Mthobeli Kolisa, who is acting CEO of the South African Local Government Association, or SALGA.